today we're going Blue Ghost 2.0. If you haven't seen that video, we dropped it about 11 months ago called Blue Ghost Marble. Right now, learn every step of the way. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. We use that Blue Ghost powder from Just Resin. Ebony Luster from Color Passion. You can pick those up at Artists of Death or RK3 Designs. Black dye, silver metallic, forest green. And I got my special 1-to-1 mix of black mica and Crater Lake. So Crater Lake is super vivid blue, but check out when you go a 1-to-1 mix of Crater Lake and black mica. When your mixing bucket isn't all the way full, that's when your epoxy is gonna turn white. Totally normal, especially in the colder months. That's microbubbles getting incorporated into Stone Coat Epoxy while mixing. Stone Coat was formulated for easy bubble removal for the DIYer like yourself. Best mixing practice, guys, you wanna take a flat bottom paint stick and we're gonna scrape the entire perimeter of that bucket. We're also gonna scrape the bottom. That's to incorporate any undermixed epoxy clinging to the bottoms or side of this mixing bucket. Then we're gonna mix for another minute and then we're ready to roll. That's all you need. This Ebony Luster, it's kind of hard to show up on camera, but any paste you use, depending on how long they've sat, you always want to give them a good mix. And then another pro tip when working with pastes, don't put this into the epoxy and then come back for more paste with that same stick. You don't want to incorporate epoxy into this paste. So I'm going to go heavily opaque on this, and that looks about the right amount. How many ounces? This is half a quart. If I need to add more black Ebony Luster, I would come in with another stick. It's really hard to tell on camera, but man, with the Ebony Luster and the black dye combined on a board, that alone is a piece all on its own. See this one, that color has separated, if you see, so be sure to thoroughly incorporate the powder back into the paste medium. I don't know what the heck's in there. If I did, I'd be a rich person. But when it gets in there with the blacks, it does some amazing stuff. I love that Blue Ghost. I gotta get more. That forest green has it's like a mix between Mystic Moss and Blue Earth or something. Step one, we're getting our base colors down. That's our black dye. We're gonna wet down our board. We're just creating a base color. It's little parts of this are gonna go through as we start building layers, but we're just starting with a base coat. So you could use your gloved hand to spread this. You could use a Bondo spreader, a shower squeegee, or a magic trowel. That is your silicone tipped reusable floor squeegee. So you could just wet down that board real quick. If you're doing this for a customer and you're doing a bunch of countertops, I recommend getting a magic trowel. It'll speed up the base coat process. I hit my edges if you didn't notice. I just take my gloved wet hand. I'm rubbing my edges, making sure those are wet. That way the epoxy flows nice and even over those edges as we start to build this piece. It's now time to just take our accent colors. We're just gonna randomly start with small amounts of our blue. This is our Blue Ghost. Here's a little of that silver, and we're gonna start hand melding. And to hand meld is I'm grabbing colors, I'm walking it into my base, I'll walk the base colors back over, and if I have too much silver, I can pick up some blue and bring it right on over that, because that is a little too much silver. So again, too much silver, bring it into your blue, and I'm just creating a base color with various amounts of pressure as I meld my hand across this project. You kind of can really steer the way your project goes at this point. We have more control when you're going by hand. I'm gonna bring in a tiny bit of this green. This is a little bit of a different green than last time, so I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna add more of that blue where the green is. And then I'm gonna come and get my magic trowel and start melding this. Okay, cool. Let me show you real quick, before I move to my magic trowel, what the alcohol will do to this. So at this point, I just have some accent colors brought in. I've got my base color down, and now this could be a finish all in itself, but it looks a little too man-made to me. And to soften that up, you could use a heat source. You could use isopropyl alcohol. This is my go-to to make the piece look more natural. Add some selling, add some lacing. I'll do a puddle in my hand and give myself bigger droplets, because the combination of the big and then I do little quarter pulls where it's barely spitting out, and I'll hit the whole piece. As the alcohol hits the paste, as it hits the metallic powders, and dyes, they all fight each other. And the Blue Ghost really makes those tiny fracture lines. This is like an alligator skin look in here that is so pretty. It's something about that Blue Ghost that I don't know what the heck's in there. If somebody wants to reverse engineer that, tell me what's in there. We could go into business and make a small fortune. Let's do this. All right, I'm gonna do a Crater Lake pour and then I'm gonna bring that up and over with the magic trowel. What I mean by that is I'm gonna put the tip of my trowel into the blue and then with light pressure, walk it up. And I'm gonna bring the silver and do the same thing. Trust the process. Grab that silver. With different amounts of pressure, you really can change where that color goes. And I think what I'll do is magic trowel this whole piece. And I'm barely, guys, I'm touching the trowel with my fingertips. The edge of it's here in my hand, and I'm using very, very subtle pressure. You can see how it kind of skips around. I'm just barely moving it. Mitch, you just ruined it. It looks so pretty. I'm just doing a fine mist now over that project. And then we're gonna let that chill out. And then you guys are gonna let me know what you think of it. So I do even a puddle. You can see the puddle in there? And some of these bigger drops really make a big difference. It broke down that real striated look. It comes in and fractures it. Green and black together. Let's try that right here. Green, black. So this right here, guys, is a technique all its own as well. I'll layer a few colors and then I get this trowel. And these fracture lines look kind of weird at first, but when you hit it again with alcohol, can add some cool effects. That is a little bit unmatchy-matchy. So let's tone it down a little more black and silver. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna hit that with alcohol. We got the whole flowing melding section with the magic trowel. We got the fractured section where I chopped that piece, or we got the kind of the beginning look. Let me know in the comments which you like most. And right here, guys, right here, this is a little bit of too much alcohol. It's pushed down against my board. So what you wanna do when you see that is just break up the surface tension. I'll take my gloved finger and touch those spots, and then they should come back, self-level out. So to remove the air bubbles, you heard this a many a times, just grab a heat source. I like a propane torch. I'm just gonna sweep the project about 1 inch or so. And if I was all done with this project, I would torch this a minimum of 3 times. I'd let it cool about 3 to 5 minutes in between torching. And I have a little extra, so let me make a little coaster set, which is a pro tip for you professionals out there, guys. You're usually always gonna mix up a hair too much epoxy when making your countertops for your customer, which I definitely did. I have way too much green. So what I'm gonna do is make a baby exotic pour. So if you did this for your customer with the same colors you made their counters, they're gonna like this present more than their entire counters. Ask me how I know. I'm gonna go right here with it, tight into that. We're gonna pull it with the trowel. You can make entire countertops like this, but we're just doing an accent vein with it. I don't know if I wanna mess with it. I do, I'm messing with it. I'm gonna pull some this way and some that way. It's a lot of green. Ooh, while I'm waiting for that to level down, I'm gonna come back now and do some of this again. And just kind of change the angles. So when I pick it up, you'll see a little epoxy pool like that. That's awesome, that's part of the effect. So don't panic when you see that. When you come back and hit it with the isopropyl, it makes it look natural. And I've seen fracturing like this in granite, 100%. I love epoxy, this stuff is awesome. Let's tone her down, doing it right now. I don't care what y'all say. Toning it down. So that's just an epoxy technique that can practically be applied to any epoxy countertop that you're doing. We have helpful resources on our website, stonecoatcountertops.com. All the products seen in this video are available. Tutorials, step-by-steps, customer support over the phone. We've got your back. You got this. I'm gonna torch this and then I'm gonna get the heck out of here. I have talked a lot.